Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to be installing a Gate Titan in this TK45C. So, if you are enjoying my content, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really does help me out. So today I'm going to strip this down, show you the slight differences between this one and the recoil, and there's really not much, and we're going to install a Gate Titan. Now I am happy to report it is significantly easier to fit a Gate Titan in the non-recoil version than it is in the recoil version, mostly because you don't have to remove the battery connectors off the end like you do on the recoil. The wiring will just fit straight through without. This will be a relatively shorter video just because the main thing to note is that the stock removal is different. Other than that, everything else is the same. So let's get some tools and get started. Before we do get started, I've just realised I've not actually yet shown you the beforehand rate of fire. So I'm just going to remove the stock. So we push the button in at the bottom here and pull it out, fully extended. Push the button in again and it will just slide out of the way. So that is the stock removed. Battery cap just clicks out, just pulls out. Nothing too difficult. We'll remove that out of the way. So I'll just quickly show you the rate of fire. Now, click the battery in. So this is on a standard 7.4 volt LiPo, nothing special, fully charged, completely bog standard, safe, nice and nippy trigger response, pretty decent rate of fire. It's pretty nice. So we're going to go through the process of installing the Titan, and we'll see where we end up with this little beast. So the main difference between the non-recoil and the recoil one is the stock. Now obviously on the recoil we have all the recoil engine in the back of the gun. In this one we don't. So we've removed the stock and the end cap, and down inside of here, if you look inside, can't quite get the camera at the right angle to show you, there is just a Phillips head screw, which I'm going to undo now until it clicks. That releases, a little bit like an M4, a screw and stopping plate, and then this battery compartment will literally just slide off just like that. So I can remove that out of the way. Next thing we've got here is the replacement, I suppose, because there's no recoil engine in yet. So we've got the end of the gearbox, which if you didn't see that quite clearly, I pushed it in, twist it a quarter turn at the most, anti-clockwise, and then it just slides out, and out comes the spring guide. Now if you have noticed, that is a completely different spring to what's in the recoil. That is a standard normal AEG spring that you get in a normal M4, AK, whatever. So it's the non-linear spring. So it's the one where we've got the extra coils in the middle and tighter at the end. And if you do get confused at any point when you're reinstalling, so just to make note, on the spring guide you should have the tight little coils at the end, tight little coils in the middle, and then the open ones at the end. So that does mean it's compatible with normal AEG springs, and it is a quick change spring as well, so you could change the spring in this in just a few seconds. This has been tuned. I'm not sure whether the spring or using the adjustment tool that comes in the box, but it's been adjusted to around 325 FPS. So I'll get that out of the way. Next thing we're going to do, little screw in here, and this plate come off the back. Now, this element here, if I hold down this wiring, I can unscrew this plate here, which is also unique to this version as opposed to recoil. This is instead of the recoil stock tube being in there. Now I've removed that, and this system here is what allows me to feed the wiring out without any modification to the connector on the new system. So I'll get that out of the way. From here on out, it is actually completely the same. There is no difference at all whatsoever. So if you did want to, now is a good time to switch back to my other video I'll come back in a few seconds and I'll show you how to just reassemble that system again once the gate is in. So I've spent a little bit of time getting the Titan in. So I've got the wiring coming out of the back. It's unsafe, and you can see there's no safety because I've removed the various parts. Just a point to note, when you're reassembling, make sure that the selector plate sits in line with these little squares. So you've got safe at the start, so obviously I set the selector to safe and the plate to safe, and then when I move it across, look, you can see it nicely sits in the middle of those squares, which means I know I've definitely got the selector in the right place. So I've rebuilt it to a point where I've got the selector plate in, I've got the motor in. Just to re-clarify, the red wire does come up the back of the pistol grip after you've installed the Titan, and the red wire needs to come up the back. You push it forward and push the motor in, and the red wire comes up and connects at the front left there, which means that the motor's been rotated from its original state. The black wire comes up the front and comes around this side and clicks on at the back over here. The motor plate and everything screws back down as normal because the motor sits at a slightly different angle in this than it does on a normal EG. So we're going to finish this reassembly now. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to bring back in this sling plate. In fact, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the bits I have removed from the gearbox. So we've got the part of the cut-off lever. The other part's disappeared. There are two parts to the cut-off lever. There it is, look. There's two parts to the cut-off lever in the gearbox, and both parts need to be removed as part of the installation. So both of those get removed from the gearbox. I've also, you do also fully remove the trigger block and all of the wiring, because the Titan comes with its own wiring, and the little latch that pushes against the trigger using the selector plate is also removed with its little spring to block the trigger as well. So these are all removed. I've also made sure to remove this little chip thing from the motor, the anti-short thing, because it's just not needed, because there's no actual current going to the switch block anymore, because it is the Titan itself, so that can be removed just with the screws. Again, that's in the other video, and I will put a link in the description below. So bring this back in. Sling plate, it's just going to go in and sitting like that. Bring in the screw. That's going to screw in. In fact, pretty sure I've actually done that in the wrong order. Pretty sure I need to screw this in first. So I'm going to hold the wiring down out of the way, and that literally just screws in. It may catch ever so slightly on the wire, so just make sure you keep them pulled down nice and tight so it doesn't catch, or catches as little as possible. That will only screw in so far. Obviously that's upside down now, so I'm going to re-rotate it back, and that should sit all square like that. Perfect. Then this can be dropped into place. Better. So screw that back in. That's nice and tight, so that's my sling loop back in place. That stays in place nicely. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the spring. So again, we've got the tight coils in the middle, tight coils at the end, big coils at the front, and that just slides in, and this goes in at about the 11 o'clock position, pushes forward, and then twists to the 11 o'clock position. So I'll show you once more. So goes in at and then twist clockwise, and then it's locked back in. And what we're going to do then is, I'm just going to lift that out of the way slightly. I'm going to bring back in the battery box, and I'm just going to feed the battery box back along the wiring, so the wirings come out at the end there. And so just to show you there, that fits onto there like that, slides in, a little bit of a click so you know it's done. Hopefully you can see it out perfectly, like you can see in there now. So I'm just going to lift this back in with my Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm going to attach this back into the gap. You may need to use your fingers just to help you feed that back into the right position. And oops, maneuver it around. There we go. There we go. So I've got it in the right position now. This plate needs to be maneuvered. There we go. It sits in the right position, and it will just lock into place because the plastic framing is there to keep it locked in place. So I'm just going to tighten that down. So that's got tight now. Move that out of the way. So there we have everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the other parts in. So I've got the charging handle assembly, and first thing I'm going to do is, you may notice there is a tiny little screw there, and the charging dust cover needs to sit, it does go inside the screw head and sits. It's a little bit tricky to engage it all. It's a little bit awkward to position it all, and will take a little bit of fiddling about just to get everything to sit where it should sit. Hook, that spring hooks on there, and then there we go. So I've put that into place. I'm going to slide that back along there. I'm going to push that inside. So just to show you, that sits behind the screw head. It keeps it semi-locked in place. Now this spring here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide that forward because it's now pushed inside the gearbox. There we go. And it's locked in place. And that will work lovely. And then I can charge the charging handle as well. So I'm ready to bring the upper receiver back in. So here we have the upper receiver. I'm just going to loosely push the dust cover up. This forward bolt release going away, and pop the pin back out. Now it clicks nice and firmly. Push the bolt back in. That's a good one, and we can check that. Perfect. If I pull it back and push that up, it locks the actual ejection port cover, whatever you want to call it, the dust cover. It locks it back, and when I release the button, it pushes it back forward, which makes accessing the hop easy. So I'll do that again, and that's the same on both the recoil and the non-recoil. Again, that's sorted. So the next thing to do is to get it configured using the app and everything. But for now, that's everything done and dusted. We've installed the Gate Titan using a combination of the two videos because it is mostly identical. It's just this back bit that's different. You can just bring your battery end cap back in and your stop back in, and we're all done. So thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye.